This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 504 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by EquestrianCollections.com. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Steve Davis. Steve is an AFA certified farrier hailing from Franklin, Tennessee. He is a current member of the Board of Directors of the American Farriers Association and a regular speaker at AFA conventions as well as equine expos and local and regional club meetings. Today's tip is all about that all-too-common dilemma of how to find a farrier when you've moved to a new area. But first, a word about today's sponsor, EquestrianCollections.com. When you need to resupply, replace, update, or invest in the stuff that makes your horse life possible, stop by EquestrianCollections.com first. Browse through some 7,000 boot choices from great brands like Ariat, Boggs, Mountain Horse, Ovation, Smoky Mountain, and more. Outfit yourself in the latest and the greatest. And don't forget your horse. EquestrianCollections.com offers some 400 blankets, sheets, and coolers from Buckus, Amigo, and Rambo by Horseware, Hug, Kensington, Triple Crown Custom, and Weatherbeta, just to name a few. Your horse will be warm and dry and stylish this winter. Not sure what type of saddle pad you want? Well, go to Equestrian Collections because they have over 600 different choices. No matter whether you ride English, Western, or bareback around the backyard, EquestrianCollections.com has the most amazing selection of brand name products you are going to find anywhere. So stop by today, EquestrianCollections.com. Now, enjoy today's tip. Steve Davis, our favorite American Farriers Association certified farrier, is here with what I'm sure is going to be a fascinating hoof tip. What have you got for us?
I am moving to another state. Can you help me find a farrier?
Ooh, I get asked that one a lot.
That one, unfortunately, in these times, people are moving. We all lose horses by attrition, and they move to other states. And your farrier has done a great job, and you want that to keep up because you love your horse. How do you find that farrier in your new location?
And the answer is...
if you are an American Farriers Association member, you can go to the www.americanfarriers.org and look up and click on Find a Farrier, and they're listed by states and names. And you can find a farrier in that particular state. If your farrier knows someone in that area, the best recommendation for a farrier is from another farrier.
Oh, that's a good one.
Simply because, for me, for instance, if I've worked so hard on a particular horse and he is now leaving me to go to another state to another farrier, I want to hand him off to a competent farrier.
Well, and you're going to be intimately familiar with their work and how it compares in style, et cetera, with yours. So it's very likely, especially if you're an AFA certified farrier who attends continuing education through the AFA, et cetera, you guys have a distinct advantage in that you are able to meet farriers from outside your area. Mm-hmm. You have common ground and you know where it is. So you can say that, old Joseph over there in Utah, I met him at the meeting or whatever it was. You know his competencies. You know his what school of farrier he comes from, as far as what he's working with, and you already know the horse. So that's really a great way to do it. So kudos to the AFA because that gives you guys the ability to do that.
We have a great network along those lines. It also opens up the communication. I will touch a horse that's come into my area until I talk to the previous farrier. And he may
See,
not
that's
be
a tip in and of itself. That's something that
really?
Well, yeah, if you're new to the area or anytime you need to get a new farrier or a new vet, someone who comes into that relationship and says, hey, I need to pick the brains of the last person who worked with this animal and learn as much as I can. Why reinvent the wheel? Somebody else has already obviously worked out a lot of the issues because this horse's feet look great, and that's just going to make you that much more successful that much quicker.
It certainly does, and a lot of times it will save you so much time, so much money, and you can just keep on keeping on. This is one good thing that I enjoy about our profession and being an American Farriers Association is that we do have that network, and we do get to communicate, and it helps the horse. It helps the horse, and that's the bottom line.
Had a great example of this issue at the barn where I keep Beaker. A young lady came into town. She's going to college here in Lexington, and was recommended a highly regarded farrier in the area. He does a lot of show horses. He came out, shod the horse, didn't go well. Horse lame. Did not have the opportunity or wasn't asked to or whatever. I don't know if, how that happened because I wasn't there, to talk to the previous farrier. But after I talked to the owner for just a little bit of a while, and she's a very nice young person who owns this horse, doesn't know a whole lot about what she should be looking for. She just knows her farrier at home did that horse, and the horse was sound, and it was all a happy relationship. So she needs to listen to the tip we did the other day about what to look for. But had that farrier either taken the opportunity or been asked to speak with the previous farrier, things might have gone a little bit better, because me standing there looking at this horse standing in the cross eyes, I went, look, he's got kind of normal looking feet. I don't know what could have gone wrong. But apparently there are some very, very important subtleties in that horse's feet that when he is shod, if it's not done just so, you have a lame horse. So what a fantastic tip for farriers as well as horse owners that encourage the next generation or the next person that's going to come and work on your horse to speak with the new one. And one of the things that we did for years and years, because I was very, very lucky to have the same farrier for almost 15 years and developed a very good working relationship with him. And he actually taught me to keep note cards on each of the horses, because he came out every 3, 4, 5 weeks. Sometimes he wouldn't see a horse but once every 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And, he shoes hundreds of horses. He said, Jen, there's no way I can't memorize all these horses. Hello, I'm a human. So we kept cards on the horses, and each horse had the toe length and the hoof angle and the type of shoe and any special notes on this little index card. And he would write on it each time, and he'd hand it back to me, and I'd shove it into a little box. And it was a fantastic tool. Then if the horse moved on to a different farrier, or if I sold the horse, you hand him this card. It's like, well, this is what's been going on with this horse's feet. So when good old Thunder, the Packer junior show hunter, goes off to his new home, the farrier that's going to take him over knows that he really does need to have trailers on the outsides of his hind shoes, because we've had them on there for 2.5 years because he was really getting sore in his hocks, and we put those on. He's been fantastic ever since. That's going to save the new farrier from going, why the devil does this silly children's hunter have trailers on his shoes? You don't do that with children's hunters. And he takes them off, and then all of a sudden 6 months later you have an unhappy customer calling you back going, hey, this horse is lame. What's the deal? Well, you took the trailers off his shoes. And by keeping those records, you've done the horse a favor as well as the owner. So that's a really great tip that has very wide ramifications. Very wide.
And you touched on subtleties. You would be amazed at the subtleties in each foot, in each leg that you're dealing with. It is, there's so many little things that go into shoeing that horse. And if you can transfer those to the next farrier, he can assess them, put them in his program for that particular horse, and you don't skip a beat. and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, why set yourself up for frustrations?
Exactly.
Write it down, if nothing else. Even if you have one of those farriers who's not a good communicator, not real chatty, perhaps at least you can get him to just tell you enough so that you can keep some notes. Just simple things like angles and toe lengths, and if you roll the toe on the shoe and why, and things like that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fabulous advice. And for folks out there who want to find a farrier because they're in a new area of the countryside and don't have one, or maybe your local farrier retired, they do that once in a while, doggone it. Just stop on over there to the American Farriers Association website. If you put in American Farriers Association to any search engine, it pops right up to the top.
Pops right up.
Just hit the old Find a Farrier button and give them an interview.
Exactly.
Once again, thanks a bunch, Steve. We'll see you around.
My pleasure.
Well, there you go. And thanks so much, Steve. To listen to all of Steve's tips or to contact him about speaking at a function, just go to Horse Tip Daily at horsetipdaily.com and go to the Experts drop-down menu on the left for all of his tips, or the Experts drop-down menu from the top border for his bio page and contact information. To learn more about the AFA, as well as fascinating stuff about hooves and farriery, just go to www.americanfarriers.org. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover. You can subscribe to all of the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.